So again, O best of the Brahmanas, kindly instruct me in the perfect method of worshiping the Supreme Personality of Godhead in devotional service, by which the Lord may very soon be pleased with me and save me along with my sons from this most dangerous condition. So the first thing to notice is this most dangerous condition is for all of us in the material world, it is a most dangerous condition. We are all doomed to die. It's like the death rate here is 100%. No, there are no survivors. And so, as long as we are in the material world, we should understand that we are in the dangerous condition and that death awaits all of us. The mortality rate, 100%. What are we going to do about it? And most people spend their time just trying to forget about it. Oh, don't be morbid. But actually, it's very dangerous. So, as Prabhupada's one of his very frequently stated things and important things to remember is human life is meant for self-realization. We are in the human form of life, and in that human life, we can begin to actually understand certain things. And so this is the special benediction of human life. And Prabhupada is here to tell us what it is for and what we ought to be doing. He said, human form is meant for self-realization, and the next part, not sense gratification. Oh, sense gratification. That's American life. How to get better and better sense gratification. You want to be happy. We all want to look for happiness. And we go for it for sense gratification because everyone is telling us, especially in America, uh, buy this, get this, do this, you'll get your senses. This is the path of sense gratification. We have been given competing paths of sense gratification, what we are going to do, and they compete among each other for their attention. But um, the trouble with sense gratification is it kills you. It's destructive. You think it's immediate satisfaction, but actually what happens when you want to satisfy the senses, it causes ignorance. Uh, Sense gratification brings about this situation where, although we are eternal, uh, full of knowledge and full of bliss, these are things that we all look for all the time. We don't want to die. We want to keep on living. If you ask somebody, how long would you like to keep on living for? Well, how long do I have? I want to. So, we really want to keep on living. Uh, we want Satchit Ananda. We want to know and understand our situations, and we want a full life of not misery but bliss. That's what we want. And what do we get from the path of sense gratification? We get a few cheap thrills, and then it's all over. Uh, uh, but yet we know we're missing out. We had so many more expectations of happiness uh, uh, and poets talk about it. When you were young and the splendor and the black grass and the glory and the flower and all those things, how the world seems so nice. And then you grow up, and as you get older and older, you understand, even you're a little kid, you fall down and scrape your knee and it starts to bleed and you start to cry. And why did this happen? And your mother has to come and kiss it and make it well and all these kinds of things because we don't want to be mortal. We want to be eternal because we are eternal. That's the reason why it's so attractive to us, because that's our actual nature. And Prabhupada describes that our being in the material world is an incompatible situation. We are eternal, but everything that we know is temporary. We want bliss, and everywhere we look, there's misery and unhappiness. So that's our predicament. What do we do? Well, it has been handed down to us for a long time. The remedy for this situation, and here, this you have to have a teacher, and the word guru, the actual etymological meaning is heavy. Supposedly heavy in knowledge. Now, the other thing is there's so many teachers who don't really know how to deal with the ultimate problem too. So Prabhupada mentions here in this purport already the Arjuna in the Bhagavad Gita. Again, but here Arjuna is in a perplexed condition. He's got his duty to fight a battle. It's a civil war, and that means his friends and relatives are on both sides. And whoever wins, he's going to feel the loser. He doesn't know what to do. And so he finally he accepts Krishna as his guru. Shishyateham, I am your shishya. I am your student. And I am now surrendered to you. And then Prabhupada quotes the instruction of the Vedas, Tad vigyanartam sa gurum eva vigachchit. If you really want to understand the truth, tat, and to realize it, then this one must approach the spiritual master, the guru, the acharya. Acharya means one who teaches by example. And Prabhupada quotes, Acharya mam vijaniyat. One must see the acharya as as my very self. He's saying here, he's to represent means to present all over again. So the person who is the representative of God, we can't see God right away. So there are those people whom God sends who can represent him. And so Prabhupada here quotes from the Chaitanya Charitamrita that the guru is the manifestation of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. This is from the Chaitanya Charitamrita. You'll find this statement in Adi Lila 146. The statement is, and this is a verse from Srimad Bhagavatam that is quoted. Prabhupada has a nice purport, which I'll at least read some of it. This is the verse: Acharyam mam vijaniyam navamanyeta karhichit nanmarcha buddhaya suyeta sarvadeva mayo guruhu. The running translation here is, one should know the acharya as myself and never disrespect him in any way. One should never envy him. One should not envy him, thinking him an ordinary man, for he is the representative of all the demigods. Uh, so one should, yeah, he says this, Acharya Mam, I am, the Acharya is me. The actual idea of representation, if you can actually represent something, like take an ambassador, you know, the ambassador, a single man, says to the people from another country, uh, uh, we're going to go to war with you if you do this. How can a person say this? Because he's got the representation. When the ambassador says it, the country does it. When an ambassador is insulted, the country is insulted. This is the nature of representation. So therefore, he's saying this, however you treat the Acharya, that's how you treat me. You say you should not disrespect him. Uh, and you should not envy him, uh, thinking of him as uh, you should have this martya buddhya, with the idea that this is just an ordinary person, uh, because of this, uh, uh, because of course is a human being and lives a short time, and like everybody else gets old. Uh, but still, that person is the uh, Sarvadeva uh, Maya. He is, well, Prabhupada translates Maya as representative, Sarvadeva, the representative of all the demigods. Yeah, he's made up of all the devas, and that's a lot of gods. We're dealing with the mother of the gods here, so, uh, and Prabhupada says in the purport, this is a verse from Srimad Bhagavatam. If you go to our Bhagavatam, they have just taken this purport and put it in inserted it in because Prabhupada didn't get to translate this part yet. So but they use this. This is a verse from Srimad Bhagavatam 11:17-27, spoken by Lord Krishna when he was questioned by Uddhava regarding the four social and spiritual orders of society. The Lord was specifically instructing how a brahmachari should behave under the care of a spiritual master. A spiritual master is not an enjoyer of facilities offered by his disciples. He is like a parent. Without how do we have our parents today? We're going to watch out. Not a good example anymore, sometimes. Without the attentive service of his parents, a child cannot grow to manhood. Yeah, when you're a child, you have no choice. They are your authorities. You don't know your way around the world, and you have to be protected and guided. And everyone is like that. If you're lucky, you have good parents, and you see what happens when people are unfortunate, unlucky. So similarly, without the care of a spiritual master, one cannot rise to the plane of transcendental service. And I like this next line in this purport. The spiritual master is also called Acharya, or a transcendental professor of spiritual science. Uh, Prabhupada uses this term, spiritual science, many times. As a person who was trained as an academic and knew a lot of academics, they flip out when the idea that there is a spiritual science. And Prabhupada was very bold about it. The science of self-realization was his thing. And science means basically, here's a set of instructions. You follow the instructions, you'll get the result. That's what it is. And here in the science of self-realization, which our teachers, our acharyas give us, is actually a process of knowledge that is also not thought by people. They think that religion is a kind of a feeling. that it's based simply on faith and not knowledge. They say, okay, here we are in the science department, we have knowledge, and here you over there in the religion department, and you have faith. We actually have knowledge. If you look at their knowledge, you'll find out it's based on premises which are accepted in faith. And when philosophers start to get and dig into that one, people freak out in the science community because how do you have premises? Every argument has a premises. And those are accepted on faith. And then you try to give other arguments to back up your premises, but those have premises. And then, and you find out sometimes you're going around in a big circle even, So there is, there one has to know the correct placement of faith. That's what we are. That is the science. How to place your faith, and so we are given this when we come to God. Here is this, and you'll get these results. Pratyaksha avagamam dharmam, Krishna says in the Bhagavad Gita. He gives you pratyaksha, this process of knowledge. He calls it a process of knowledge because it gives you pratyaksha. The word pratyaksha literally means right in front of your eyes. It's direct perception of the self. When you say realized knowledge, it means it's experienced knowledge. You take this process, you do it, and this will be what you see. So it is the science of self-realization. We're not trying to, fasten ourselves to the prestige of modern science, but there's this word always, in Sanskrit, jnana, which means knowledge, and vijnana means that knowledge has been experienced. Jnana vijnanam astikyam. It gives you knowledge and experience of this thing. So our science, now this is where is a stumbling block for many people. Our science demands that we follow 4 regulative principles. No illicit sex, no intoxication, no meat eating, no gambling. We take those vows to get entry into the science. And people think of those principles as moral principles. Because in material science, you can be as, degenerate as possible, just so long as, by Monday morning when you go to work, your hangover's over and and you're functional. Otherwise, the state of your morality, these kind of things, they don't matter. They don't matter, at least in the actual science itself. But in this case, you have to understand that these 4 regulative principles are cognitive principles. They are principles of knowledge. If you follow them, you will get this result. And the result will be, where you follow our process of chanting Hare Krishna, is, well, first of all, you have to look at the analysis in terms of the modes of nature. Knowledge depends upon sattva, on goodness. And these things, see, our standard of advancement is the standard of the mode of passion. If you read this chapter of the Bhagavad Gita, you'll discover something. The result of the mode of passion is misery. Because whatever you get is limited and temporary, and it doesn't bring you happiness, and you have to go on to something else. It's misery. And when that misery comes, you have no recourse except to go to the mode of ignorance. and start taking intoxicants and other things like that, or committing suicide. If you think that's going to solve your problems, it doesn't. But anyway, uh, this is the understanding America. You know, this is it. The mode of passion leads to misery. The result of misery is that you take shelter of the mode of ignorance and oblivion or destruction of some kind of thing, or rage. You know, just insane rage at everybody and everyone. Uh, so there's no training for the mode of goodness. And with the mode of goodness, you can see things in the right position, hear things in the right position, and knowledge becomes uh, possible. You can start to understand yourself as a spiritual being. You can understand that I'm not the body. And not only that, you can understand that I'm not the mind, which is even better news. So we are encaged in two layers, you know, the mental body and the gross body, the subtle body and the gross body. And you can see them working, and you can understand by the instructions we get from the Acharya, this, in order to understand that you are not the body, that you are a spirit soul, not just accepted on faith, but as experience, you have to become free from the modes of passion and the modes of ignorance. And if you chant the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra while following the regular principles, this will be the result. You will see that passion and ignorance decrease. And it happens very fast. When I was just starting to practice Krishna consciousness and just trying it out as a kind of experience and experiments, started chanting, and the modes of passion and ignorance started to decrease, I had no idea what to do with myself. I wasn't in the association of devotees. There was not even a temple very accessible right now. And the devotees, when I did go there, were all kind of weird. But 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 I didn't know what to do with myself, because they went there, because you have to know what the activities are in the mode of not just the mode of goodness, but spiritual activities. Mode of goodness is even hard to find outside of Krishna consciousness. Practically, no one is instructing into it. Uh, the future for us of the whole world, Prabhupada said, he was asked, thank you, I was looking at the time. He was asked by reporters in an airport, and I was standing next to him. I don't know if the recording machine was on at that time. The reporter said to Prabhupada, "Why have you come to the West?" And Prabhupada said, "I have come to give you a brain." And I was watching these reporters, you know, they had the little tablets and their pencils in those days, you know, and they all stopped writing and looked up, you know. And then he explained to them what a brain is. You know, he said a society has head, arms, belly, and legs, and it has to be guided by the head, which is the brain. And then he, you know, explained a little bit that your society is headless. So he describes the Varna system. And then he actually said this: in your society, everyone is a Shudra, and there are a few Vaishyas. There you have it, the diagnosis of the modern West. Everyone is a Shudra. By the way, if you get a paycheck, you're a Shudra. You know, if you're an employee, you're a Shudra. The Vaishyas are self-employed. They actually make wealth. The Kshatriyas live on taxation. They have their vritti, their mode of livelihood, and the Brahmanas live on donations. This is their livelihood. It's described there, you know. So he said, in your society, everyone is a Shudra, and there are a few Vaishyas. We haven't seen real Kshatriyas, nor have we really seen real Brahmanas. So that is our mission. That is our mission to uh, give society this head. So here, reading today from this, we should very sympathize with Aditya. We are in a dangerous condition in the material world, and we should say this, you know, kindly instruct me in the perfect method of worshiping the Supreme Personality of Godhead in devotional service. Prabhupada has given us that instruction. He's given us these books of knowledge, like Srimad Bhagavatam, which is designed for the people in Kali Yuga, that is there for us. The mercy of the Lord is something that Lord Chaitanya has come as predicted, and now his movement is spreading all over the world. And so we have the knowledge by which people can actually, uh, 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 as Prabhupada put it in Srimad Bhagavatam, uh, change the course of a misguided human civilization. We are here now misguided and badly instructed. And so Prabhupada's mission was to actually give this society this brain, and it is up to us to do the best we can to take advantage of what we've been given, not just for ourselves, but for uh, everybody else. So I stop there, and we'll see if there are any questions, comments, so on.
Hi, Krishna. Thank you very much for a brilliant presentation, Prabhu. There are a couple of questions that I saw in the chat that I can read to you. This is from Nanda Gopa, Prabhu. He's asking, is Guru a representative of Krishna, Balaram, or Radharani? Because we hear all of these at in different places. We hear them, Guru as being representative of Krishna or Balaram or Radharani. So, what is the understanding?
All three. Krishna first. Balaram is spiritual power, so sometimes it's considered like that. And on a more advanced stage, representing Radharani. Don't start that way. Start with Balaram. Balaram means, you know, spiritual strength, I mean, and joy. You know, Bala is power.
So there is another question also. This is from Preeti. What is the difference between knowledge and intelligence? Because people seem to be intelligent even without following regulative principles.
Well, the word intelligence is used by Prabhupada for the Sanskrit word buddhi. And buddhi is higher than the mind. You know, there's manas, buddhi, and ahankara. And it's very interesting if you look at this what ultimately intelligence means. You have a certain mentality in mind of a way of looking at the word, but behind this mentality that you may have there is an active faith that you believe certain things, the premises. Buddhi is actually the ability to correctly place your faith. That's what buddhi really is. Uh, 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 and it is Krishna who is the guide or director of intelligence. If they want to forget me, I give them the intelligence by which they forget. If they want to know me, I give the guidance by which they can come to know me. There is uh, uh, so ultimately, when we have buddhi that's really healthy, uh, develop buddhi, it is actually Krishna himself who is directing us. And therefore, in the Bhagavad Gita, you see that Krishna is acting all the time for Arjuna as his buddhi, destroy his doubts and give him the proper guidance. So that is really buddhi. There's not much uh, understanding of what buddhi is. Uh, and mostly what we do is on the mental platform, and therefore we accept and reject things one after the other just on the basis of sense gratification. You need some buddhi to have any long-term goal-directed activity. There has to be some sense control or things like that. But the actual ultimate buddhi is this understanding what your life is for and how to do it correctly.
Hare Krishna. Uh, that was really a brilliant presentation. I really like the statement that you made, like how buddhi or intelligence is the ability to place the faith at the right place. Literally every statement you say comes out like a sutra, which can be saved and uh, like worship for the rest of our lives. So thank you very much. I really loved hearing from you. And
Glad to
also,
be of
when
service.
there is another question also, anonymous. Like, I'm just trying to process the question. Just a minute. What can be said about principles of knowledge if, in the case, it leads to following a leader who does not follow these same principles? Because if buddhi means intelligence, which can help us place ability to place faith at the right place, but somehow if the leader does not follow these same principles, so how do we handle that kind of a question?
Well, it depends on how much power you have, how you can do it. I think that what your circumstances are. If you're a corporal in the army and your leader is the lieutenant, and the lieutenant is an idiot, they have one way of dealing with it. But if you're in a firm and an employee and the head of your department is also a fool, then you may have other ways of dealing with it. So that the part of the intelligence is to find the uh, best way to deal with that, or the best way to get yourself out of that situation. And also that requires guidance. So I can't give a blanket thing because it really depends on. There's so many different ways of being idiots that people take leadership positions.
This question is also pointing to like spiritual organizations in which faithful followers take shelter of certain leaders, but the leaders may have difficulty later. So how do we understand? Because they had the intelligence to take shelter in the right place, but still, if there is a problem.
Yeah, then you have to sit back and see what went wrong with that person, what mistakes they made, uh, and uh, find somebody who's better. If that person is teaching you, at least this is like the path I should be on. You find somebody better. It is not, there's one Diksha Guru, but there are many Shiksha Gurus. And and so, at least in the Krishna consciousness movement, it is not mean that you have to blindly follow one person. We have the Guru principle is distributed. First of all, we have Srila Prabhupada's books themselves, which are given to us. And by the way, Bhanu Swami has translated all of Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur's purports for us, and we have the previous Acharya. I mean, we have so much resources of knowledge, and and if you're looking for somebody, if you've been disappointed in some way by some leader, you look for somebody. Yeah, pray to Krishna, and it's always a good idea. Look at yourself and see maybe what am I doing wrong that I can improve myself. And if you just want to lay back and look for the leader that's going to take care of you completely, you're also doing something wrong. You yourself have to take a responsibility for your own uh, state, so that you're doing whatever you can for the modes of ignorance and the modes of passion to decrease and so on like that, and Krishna will help you. You can't be lazy in this. This is your life, and you got to really make something out of it, and you have to really follow this path, uh, and so yeah, so there are many different ways you can do this, but basically you have to do what you can do in your situation, and if you've done the best that can be achieved, then Krishna will make some other change for you to help you along. I've always seen that happen.
Thank you, Prabhu. That was a very balanced and sobering answer. Also, like how one should be open to explore, even if there are some issues in the choice. And there's another question, which was also kind of a personal question I was about to ask also. Here the question is, if because you mentioned in the class that how anybody who gets a paycheck is like a Shudra, given the circumstances today, most of the devotees of the Krishna conscious movement also are in the congregation. They also do the same, even though we call that aspect as like Shudra. So how do we explain? Is it going to be discouraging for them to know that, or is it wrong that they're doing? They have to give it up. How do we balance this situation?
Sometimes we're in what would be called an emergency situation, and so sometimes you can do different things in emergency situations. And so I understand that difficulty of of uh, of uh, of the position. Interesting, like where you look at our situation. I remember one devotee wanted to know if it was possible, as a devotee, to go on welfare. And Prabhupada said yes. He said, it is the duty of the Kshatriyas, meaning the government, to support the Brahmanas. Because that's how a Brahmana is supposed to live, is supposed to live on charity, basically, by begging, which, try to do that. So anyway, he said, he said, it's the duty of the Brahmanas, the Kshatriyas, to support the Brahmanas. And then he said, but just don't lie. So you can't cheat either, you can't, you have to tell the truth. And so if you can do it, that that's fine. But we are in a kind of an emergency thing to do. And so it's very, very difficult. In the Bhagavatam, it says that if a Brahman is an emergency situation, they should not become Shudras. They should not take up the occupation of dogs, as is called, and you should just, go pick up grains from the rice fields. But we're in a situation where there may not be any rice fields around or grains that you can pick up. So do the best you can under the circumstances.
There is another question. It's time for the darshan to open, but still we can go ahead because the darshan is available for anyone who wants to take in the host screen. The question that I have here is like, why is it that the only recourse when frustrated in the mode of passion to go down to ignorance? Why could not a person seek out truth out of this frustration?
Well, you can think of truth out of the frustration. I have to say hello to the deities. I see them on my screen. Yeah, I mean, frustration, discontent may lead you to a higher thing. You have to deal with it though with intelligence. Why am I frustrated? What is missing in my life? What do I need to do to increase? But believe me, Krishna is in your heart. You're not alone. There's two of you in your body. There's you and there's the super soul. They're together, like two birds sitting on the same tree. And if we are sincerely interested in doing what fosters and enhances our spiritual advancement in the circumstances, just pray to Krishna to help us out, show us what to do. And then Krishna will he will always show you where to go. The trouble is, after he shows you where to go, you don't do it. Then you say, what's wrong? I asked Krishna, but you probably ignored what he was telling you. We've all been through that too. And okay, yeah, I'll do that then. Okay.
Thank you, bro. At this point of time, anybody would like to unmute themselves and then ask a question or comment or your appreciation, you're welcome to. So here, there are many devotees appreciating the class on the chat also. Thank you very much, Prabhu. We're very grateful for you taking this time to speak to all of us. Yes,
Hare
Malaki.
Krishna. Yeah, Hare Krishna, Prabhu. Yeah, so therefore, we don't necessarily have to degrade to the mode of ignorance if we are trying to understand how to actually become happy.
That's right. You from that discontent position, one can seek out good, things that are more toward the mode of goodness, and especially Krishna consciousness. I mean, it's really, to me, what we really have to do is really nice, is japa. Because when you are chanting japa, it's a very simple arena. There's three, like an arena, like a box, but there's three things on the three actors on the stage, or three participants. There's you. There's Krishna, who's present before us as in the form of sound. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. That's Krishna, and his name are the same. So he's there. There's you, there's Krishna, and the third person is your mind. So if you want to have a relationship with Krishna, you have to focus your attention on that sound. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna. You do that few mantras, and then suddenly something is drawing your attention away. That's the mind. When you notice it's gone away, because sometimes you can go on not for a little while before you notice. When you've noticed it's gone away, bring your attention back to the holy name. Set your attention at the feet of the holy name, and again, pay attention. That's respect. You know that really what to pay attention is to show somebody you respect them. You do that. When you're not attentive, you're disrespecting somebody. Somebody wants to talk to you and you keep looking around somewhere else. It's rude. So when we're being unattentive, we're being rude to the holy name, who's made himself so nicely available in the form of sound, right in our own mind, right in our own lips. So just bring it back. And if you do that, and if we haven't been practicing like that, it's hard for a while. We've maybe developed even a bad habit of sitting down, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, and then go off and daydream the rest of but just do that. And so it's a little work, but that work itself shows Krishna that you're interested in a relationship. You're calling on him and interested in a relationship, and he will respond. So it just has to be some diligence. If you're not interested in a relationship, don't complain that Krishna's not helping me out. I'm calling, but he's not coming. Don't complain.
Yeah, of course. Do you mind if I also thank you for that, Maharaj? Do you also mind if I go back to the question that someone asked about Guru representing both Balaram and Radharani?
Mm-hmm.
And you said that actually, they do the spiritual master does represent both, right? But we should, I think you said we should focus on the fact that he represents Balaram.
Mm-hmm.
That's correct, right?
That's right.
And the reason is because to focus on the fact that he also represents Radharani. We can think like that when our devotional practice matures much more. Is that the idea?
About Radharani?
Yes, about the fact that the Guru represents Radharani.
No, you can focus on all three of them at the same time, but usually when one's really focused is really on Radharani, that usually happens in a more advanced state when you're really starting to realize your own relationship with Krishna as a gopi following in the footsteps of one of the gopis. Same way, Balaram can also be somebody you focus on an advanced stage for a fraternal relationship with Krishna.
Yeah.
Or you could, but that's on the advanced stage, you take one of those devotees as a model for oneself. But in the beginning, I said Balaram because he's also spiritual strength. And originally, spiritual strength comes from Balaram. And so generally, the spiritual master who gives us guidance is also thought of as a representative of Balaram.